たいことはわかるわ。キャラに愛のないコスプレなんてクソ。有名になるためだけにコスプレを使うなんて許せない。商売女、プロなんてタレントがコスプレさせられてるだけ。まあ、ネットで見る悪口としてはありふれたやつよ。見飽きちゃったわ。そんなことを思ったわけでは。
All right, my friends, episode number 8 of 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, and we definitely had a seducing episode here. We had Ririsa versus the professional cosplayer Nagomi. So really, not a whole lot happened in episode 8. This was truly what I would call a setup episode for what's going to come next, which is really just doing two things. One, it introduced us to a new character, Nagomi, who is, you know, basically the reverse of every otaku guy. The one who's like, oh no, 3D women, only 2D women. This is more like 3D boys, gross, 2D boys, 2 thumbs up. But with this specific character, she's very much like Ririsa and, has a thing for, like, you know, how Ririsa has a thing for Liliel. This specific person, this Nagomi person, has a big crush on this 2.5D man character. And that's kind of what drives her, you know, drives her story, drives her forward, etc., etc., etc. So this character is pretty much somebody who is a professional cosplayer, professional model, it seems like, and also has a really, really strong interest in this one specific particular 2D type boy character. So that totally makes sense. So really, episode 8 was just all about setting up two things. One, you know, introducing us to Nagomi, who she is, what she does, you know, how she operates, and then kind of the face off between Ririsa and Nagomi and what's going to come there, you know, as they go into this new Comic-Con type show, all that stuff. The second portion of this was introducing us to the next kind of complexity around keeping the manga club alive at school, which, you know, how the manga club, you know, stayed alive before at school was participating in manga competitions and being writers and artists and trying to win stuff. And that's kind of how they stayed afloat at school. But now with this transition into cosplay, the teacher has kind of tasked them with, okay, if you guys want to keep this alive through the school, kind of how they did before, you need to go and set yourself ablaze and you need to go and win some kind of cosplaying type competition. So then that way, one of the meat and potatoes of what you are doing here in this club is kind of recognized not only by some third party, but also the school. Last episode, it left off with them writing a report for what they were doing, you know, with volunteering and stuff, and they didn't want to do that. So they want to pursue kind of like their own way in keeping the club alive. So totally commendable and totally makes sense. So that it kind of set up those two kind of different factors. New character, new rival, new potential love rival, as she probably will end up falling in love with our boy as well too. And then on the opposite side, you have, you know, keeping the manga club alive and what that entails and everything else. So really, you know, a couple of really cool things that episode number 8 introduced was 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, but really that's all that it did this episode. I would say this is one of the less than episodes, you know, still enjoyable and everything that happened, but I didn't really find any real big funny moments. I didn't really find, you know, really big, really just, you know, really hilarious moments. There was just nothing that existed this episode. It was really just all truly set up with Ririsa, you know, coming across some of the realities of cosplay, the teacher coming through with some of the realities of cosplay and what that's meant for her in her life. The manga club, you know, finally hitting that fence, kind of hitting that wall and how they're going to jump over it with the next thing, finding the next Comic-Con or the next, you know, the next con that is going to come up and kind of what their next goal is. And then obviously this Nagomi character, which kind of enveloped the whole episode, which, you know, very pretty, very, very demure. But, you know, one of those characters that is really like, you know, she is definitely doing cosplay, not because of passion, but because it what funds her passions, which is these 2D characters. So overall, episode 8 was a pretty good episode. Don't get me wrong, it was a good episode of 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. It just didn't follow suit with some of the other, you know, things that had happened before in the last episodes, which is mainly just being really, really funny. Or having those really awkward romantic moments between Ririsa, you know, and our boy and the main character. Both of the things I kind of felt were lacking, you know, this episode. So I guess, you know, if I were to rank all 8 episodes, this would probably be 7th or 8th, you know, among that rank. Doesn't mean it was, again, a bad episode. It just means that throughout all the other really great episodes that have been on offer, this is just one of the less than episodes that was on offer. So that's really all I have to say this week. Keeping it short and sweet for episode number 8. I'm going to see you guys next week for episode number 9 as we get Ririsa versus Nagomi in the competition. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this episode in the comments down below. Thank you guys for waiting for my review for this episode. Quick, easy, quick in and out with this one because there just wasn't a whole lot here. All right, my friends, I'm going to see you guys next week. Peace.